So, how do we define what a successful personal brand is? If you just simply Google this and type in what is a successful personal brand, or how do you define a successful personal brand, this is the definition: is a well-defined and consistently presented image of oneself. It clearly communicates your unique value proposition. It resonates with your target audience and establishes you as a credible authority within your field, ultimately leading to positive recognition and desired opportunities in your career or industry. It's about being known for what you do best and why people should choose you over others. So it's what you stand for and why you. How do you uniquely help me? How do you have what unique life experience do you have that I'm going to relate to and feel like that positions you to help me? So when we think about personal branding and when I talk to a lot of different people, the struggles that I hear pretty consistently are, I don't know what to talk about, or I have an idea, but then it's like, oh, it's not in my niche or my industry, so I feel like I can't talk about it. I feel kind of boxed in. Some people get really technical about it. They think they need certain equipment. They have to script a certain way. Like they have to do it the right way in order to succeed. So then they get really into the details and it just feels so overwhelming and causes them to take no action because it's just too much. So the problem here is you might not be aware of it, but the deep problem, the moment that you hold the camera up to film something, or maybe you do film and then you look at it, what it does is it just brings all of your insecurities to the surface. So then you start to get scared. You start to get scared because you're afraid of being judged. And this is like totally normal. This is something that we all experience. It's the ones that have the awareness around this and you have awareness of yourself that can reach authenticity, that can get there. But this is a constant practice. If we look at this of all of our emotions and their frequencies, shame and guilt are the lowest. And this is what holds a lot of people back because of failures throughout life and just different things that happen, right? Like you hold on to that and then you make it part of your self-worth because you've had failures instead of using those and giving them a different meaning and allowing those to empower you. Because based on those failures and those life experiences, you have lessons learned from that you can actually use to your advantage. Because now you're powerfully positioned to help people that are going through those same failures, as long as you have the right mindset around it. And again, if you take a look at our chart here, we've got neutrality. That's high. That's high on the list. So everything comes down to the meaning that we give it. If you remain neutral, that's a good place to be. Your willingness to learn, to grow, your acceptance of the reality. Look, it's uncomfortable to create content initially. That doesn't mean that you're bad. It doesn't mean that you're not creative. It just means it's uncomfortable. And we're going to work through that. You don't have to attach those feelings to you and your identity. It's just a feeling. It's not a part of you. It doesn't make you less qualified, you less worthy. This is a new skill that you have to now develop. So having the awareness of our emotions, of our state, our default mode, that's Ruby, and she, I guess, wants to be a part of this call. That is the starting point. Because if we can have the awareness and we can know that it's not about us, it's not that we're not good enough, it's not that we are bad at making videos. Like, you have a message to share. You are currently helping people. That's why you're interested in building this personal brand. And we just have to build up the skill set of showing up and creating. I love this chart so much because whenever you're having these emotions, when you're feeling these things, you know, when you're in a state of fear, it's like, okay, go to the chart and think, all right, if I'm at fear, I need to go to courage. If I can just get to courage, then I'm going to, I'm moving up. To combat fear, you need courage. You need the willingness. You need the acceptance. To just having this awareness around this. Shame is the worst. That's the worst. Shame and guilt are the absolute worst emotions you can have. And I know that many of us, and I was like this too, I was ashamed of divorce. And so I thought, I don't want to talk about that because I was so ashamed of it. Instead of, I have a desire to help people that are going through that went through what I've been going through, because I know how I felt and I want them to feel empowered. I want them to feel like they're still worthy of love, because they are. And so that is how you kind of climb this chart, okay? And you can take it to the next level. It's the awareness. And then it's also, if we go back to this, right? We need to know ourselves so that we can clearly communicate what makes us unique, what makes us stand out. Many of us don't even know what makes us unique. You know what you're good at as far as your expertise, but to really identify like your unique value. Like Steve Harvey talks about this. He talks about your gifts, and your gift is what you do the best with the least amount of effort. What you do the best with the least amount of effort. So think about that. A lot of times we think that this gift, if we can identify it in that way, our next thought will be, well, we can't make money doing that. But it's not true. Again, going back to meaning and emotion and all of these things, that's just what you've been told. So that is the belief that you have. But that's not true. There's many possibilities, many possibilities. My gift is connecting. I'm a connector. I connect with people. I'm able to see people. I can see your gifts in you. I never thought years ago that that was something I could make money at. I didn't think about personal branding. I wasn't thinking about social media. I did have an awareness that that was my gift, but yet I didn't know how that could be monetized. But you see, once you have the willingness to trust yourself that the opportunities will present themselves, then the opportunities will start to present themselves. So all these things go together. So you need to think about what you do the very best with the least amount of effort. Okay. And then how does that apply to your business now and how you currently serve and help people? Because it all goes together. It is all connected. You just have to find those patterns and the similarities of how that all blends together. So again, going back to shame, we think of these things that we failed at and we're ashamed of them, so we don't want to share them. What we don't realize is those things, those are really our connectors. Those are those points of connection. And I know this for a fact because that has been very true for me. So I'm going to share this clip and then we'll talk about it. So many of us are attaching our identity and our self-worth to what we do. And if you look at your personal brand or your online presence in that way, you've already got it wrong. Because you see, a successful personal brand, we are connected to your values, to the core of who you are. And the core of who you are applies to any business that you are a part of. So it's sharing that, because that is going to set you apart. That's going to set you apart from your competition, from the rest, because you're the only one that has your unique life experience. So we need to tell these stories. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about the lessons learned. That's the bridge that connects you. Because you're here right now, you're showing up, but you're blending in with the crowd. If you want to get over the bridge of transformation, you're going to have to get vulnerable. You're going to have to share that story. That's going to require courage for you to get to the other side and actually start connecting with your audience. It's kind of like, I love the movie Wizard of Oz, because I feel like this applies to life in general. But if you think of this like creating content or building a personal brand, and a successful brand is the Emerald City, you've got to follow the yellow brick road, which means you got to show up and post daily. But what's required in order to do that is courage, is heart, a brain, like a little bit of strategy in there. It's all of these things together, but you need all of them, and you got to keep going, putting one foot in front of the other without knowing if you're going to get to the end. You got to fall in love with the process.